Okay, so today we will discuss about string. Okay,
So, Anuj, I was not able to attend the class yesterday.
okay,
Then I'll try this problem today.
okay,
Is it
no
fine?
problem.
Yeah, thanks.
So, what is a string? No one had idea about it. String is a class provided by Java. So we can say string is a class that is already written by Java people. We can just use it. Okay, next thing we can say it's a sequence of character. Sequence of characters. So for example, if I say this double quotes, so basically this is a string, right? To represent a sequence of characters, we can use this class. Like we have seen some examples where we were saying string name to store name data, right? Now, what are different properties or methods we have inside class? Let's discuss them. So whenever we talk about string, we can simply say it's a class or a sequence of characters. There are multiple operations we can perform with a string. Let's do practically instead of going into much into theory. So for example, in this class, test 2, let me use this test 1. So here is basically our main method. We have a string, let's call it str is equals to hello, how are you? Okay, so we have this string. What are the different operations available inside string class? So if I say system.out.println str dot, let's say I'm saying char at. So before moving to this method, let me just give you a brief idea. Like when I'm saying string, let take name is equals to Anuj Seni, for example. So how this data will be stored in the form of index, like a n u j, then one space, then s a I, then n, and then again I. So indexing will be like 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, something like this, similar to the array. So if I say char at when we say char at, we pass a number that is basically the index. So it will returns a character from that particular specified index. So for example, if I say, from this example, if I say name dot char at 1, so it will give us n. Okay. If I say name dot char at, let's say -1. So yesterday for this, what we were getting an index out of bounds exception. In this case, we will be getting string index out of bounds exception. Okay, if the index is not exist. If I say char at, let's say 10, which is not there, again same error. Here we'll get -1, like this particular index is not available, and in this case we will be getting this particular index is not available. Getting my point? Any doubt in this char at method? So for this particular example, let me just keep it short. We don't have hello, how are you? I have Anuj and Sunny. Okay, so if I say char at, let me take 1. So at first index, what we have is n. So n will be printed. You can see here on the console, right? And what if I say -1, string index out of range -1, and the exception we are getting is string index out of bounds exception, right? Similarly, if I say 9, that is perfectly fine. We will get I. You can see. And if I say 10, we will get the error, string index out of bounds exception. So this particular index is not available in this given in string. All right, make sense? Any doubt?
No, no doubt. But one generic question, that how we can find out that how many possible methods are available, like char at and like that. How we can
So
check that?
for like frequently used, I'll discuss, or you can just go inside the string class by saying Control Shift T like this, and you just type a string and you will get the string class. So you have to open this particular java.lang jdk 1.8.0_26. You can open it and you can go here and you will find all the method here. Like for example, in this view you can see these are the constructor I'm highlighting at right side, and then these are also the constructors till this point. Now we have length method. These are all methods basically which I'm highlighting here. Or you can just say Control O and all the list will be populated here. Okay. Or even if you are working in Eclipse, so you can just say str and then say dot control space, or without control space you can just you can be you would be able to get all these available methods, right? And most of the methods like comes with their documentation like this. You can see caret, so you can read the documentation from here. Returns the character value at the specified index, and index ranges from 0 to length -1. That means we can get a particular character from the string between 0 to length -1. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
What it will take as an input, index of the the index of the character value. What it will return, the character value at the specified index. What it will throws index out of bounds exception if the index argument is negative or less than the length of the string, right?
Yeah, right.
So next method we can use the split method. So we have str, and if we say split, so split basically asks for a regular expression like from where you want to split. When you say split, that means we are going to break that string into multiple string. So for example, this time I'm saying whenever you find a space, break it down. And when it breaks it down, it will make a new array of a string like this. So I can say strings for this particular example, I'm saying strings. So how this will be look like? Yesterday we were working on arrays. So in our case, what we have is string str equals to hello, how are you? We have this particular string. Okay, now I am saying str dot split. I'm saying split it by one space. So it is giving me an array of a string. I'm calling this strings. Okay, now how this data will be stored in that particular array? So it will be stored like this. Hello, the character from which we want to break will not be there. How are you? So this is an array of string. The name of this array we are taking is strings, right? Getting my point? For string will be there inside the array, like we are breaking it from the space. So this will become the 0th, 1, 2, and third index, right? Like this. Getting my point? So let me just do it. We have seen, like if we have an array, we can use the for loop to print it, and we can just say print each string. So strings of I, we can say like that. So we are getting hello, how are you? All right. Now furthermore, like hello is having 5 characters. If I want to print character by character, what we can do is like we can say for this time I am saying strings of I dot length. Just print that character. Strings dot I dot caret j. Okay, and when you are done, add a new line just like that. So let me just comment this one. So you can see the output, like how we are getting it. HELLO, then one new line, then HOW, then one new line, then ARE, then new line. So we can get it like this as well using the caret method. Now you need to make a note, when we are working with string, there is a method called length, and when we are working with an array, there is a property called length. So don't confuse between those two. String class has a method with the name length, and array has a property with the name length. So when we call a method, we add parentheses like this, and when we want to call a property or just we say instance variable, we can use the name like we are doing at line 9. Okay, anybody has any confusion in this?
Hi, Anuj. Actually,
Tell
if you
me.
want to split the string, compulsory is it need a like a space or anything, or without any condition also we can split. If you want to split it hollow with the first letter and other letters, how can we do that?
Wait. So you can see here the definition itself says split this string around matches of the given regular expression. That means this will take an input. That is the confirm thing. Input will be there. Whatever you want to take, it's up to you. But you have to pass an input. Like we cannot call it like this. We will get compilation error. You can see it here, right?
Yeah.
The method split string in type string is not applicable for the argument empty argument basically, right? So we have to pass the argument or the regular expression. Now what is your question now?
Actually, if I want to split a string without any space, if it doesn't have any spaces, uh, how can I do it?
Tell me your use case. I'll definitely help you to find out the way.
Yeah, if I want to change the first letter of my name is in capital letter, how can I do it actually?
I lost your voice in between. Like I'm not sure other people were able to get or not, but yes, I was not able to listen you properly. Can you come again?
Yeah. I want to change a name
Mm-hmm.
with the first letter as a capital letter.
Okay.
So how can I do it
So
without
what is
any
your input
spaces?
string basically?
Either take any name.
Okay, so let's say we have, for example, this. Oh, sorry. Okay, we have this. Now what do you want to do? Hello?
She wants to make a first letter capital and like P as a capital.
Okay, so that doesn't really need a split. We can get the first character using caret method. Yes or no?
Yes, Anuj.
So if we want the first letter, we can use the caret. Like it will be on 0th place. We know that. Make sense?
Yeah, but we need to change it to uppercase and we need to attach it right again.
Yes. I'll come to that. No worries.
Yeah.
So, for example, we are working on this particular problem. If I say split it with a space, so there is no space, only one string would be there in this strings array, right? Let me just revert it back. Okay, now if I say, so only thing I'm getting is Pravina because there is only one name. Let me take another name. Let's say Hema is also there in this string with a separated space. So this time we will get 2. Okay, now what you want to do, like if we are not giving any space, so that means every character will be treated as a separate string. And you can see, right, when we are not telling the regex, the regular expression, then every character will be treated as a separate string. Now let's come to your question. So for example, we have this particular name Pravina in str variable, and we want to capitalize first letter of this. So we have So in this case, we don't really need a split. Okay, what we can do is we can say, let me just remove this entire code. We can say str dot, we can get the character like this. So it will give us first character. First char, something like this. So if I'm just checking, the solution is not yet complete. Okay, I'm just checking what we are getting. So it will print P, right? Now, if I say there is another method that we will be using most of the time, that is called substring, str dot substring. So there are two substring method, like one takes a begin index in the form of integer, and the second one take begin and end index. So I'm using the second one. We'll discuss both. So I'm starting from the second character of the string, like I'm not taking 0. So that means we are escaping the first character, that is P, right? And I am not defining the end. So end will be treated the last character. Okay, so we got a substring, and if I say I'm just trying to print it like substring, what we got is Arvina, right? Now using this, I can form a new string. For example, string str or updated str is equals to, now we have first char, which is basically a character. So if I say first char dot, so you can see I'm not getting any option like two uppercase or two lowercase. What we need to do is, first we need to convert that particular character into a string. How we can do that? String dot, there is a method called value of, and if we pass that character here, that will be converted into a string. Then we can say two uppercase. Okay, then we can say add the substring. It will form a new string. Let's print that. Getting my point? Pravina, is it clear?
Yeah, clear, Anuj. Actually, my data also cleared actually. Now
Okay,
you.
instead of doing in this way, what we need to do is, we need to use, instead of like taking first char using the caret method, for this specific case, what we should use is, let me take a string. Let me take it as first char is equals to str dot substring. So we want to extract first character. We can do that with the caret method, but in that case we need to put some extra effort. Like you can see at line 16, we need to convert that character into the string, then only we can say two uppercase. Okay, so what we can do is, we can extract the first character of that string saying 0, 1. So it will give us first char, and this time we don't really need to do this, and this will produce the same output, right? Now let's understand how this substring works. There are two ways to use it. For example, we have str, string str is equals to hello how are you? And if I say str dot substring, I'm saying start from the third character, go till 8th character. If the begin index and the end index is not there, like we are taking, let's say, -1 and an index which is not there, then again we will get string index out of bounds exception, right? So I'm saying 3. So we can calculate it like this. Let me just zoom it up. So we have this character at 0th position. This is at 1, 2, 3, 4. Then space is at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then this is 13, 14. This is basically 15. And view is at 16 place. Okay. So I'm saying third. So third will be L. So we are saying start from L, go till 8. So it will start from this position and go till this point, W. When we use this kind of syntax, like we are providing begin index and the end index. So end index will be exclude. So if I exclude the W, what we will get is LLO space HO. Isn't it?
Single L, right?
Double L. We are starting from through 3. So this one will be included.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, we have string S is equals to Anuj. And I want to take this character. So I can just say S dot substring start from 0 and go till 1. So that means 0th character will be included. First one would not be there. Getting my point? So from this we will get only A. So while applying substring with this begin index and the end index, and index would not be included in the substring. Okay. Now when we just say like this, substring, S dot substring, I'm saying start from 1. So this is basically our begin index. That means start from this point and go till the end. So what is the end? Third index is the end. So we'll get NUJ. If we are not specifying the end index, then starting from the begin index, we will get the entire string. Make sense? Like in this case, when we say 0, 1, we are just getting first character. Let me just print that so that you can have a clear clarity. Right? Then I'm getting substring. Then we are appending both by calling this to uppercase method. Anybody has any doubt in this substring method? If yes, let me know. Otherwise, I'll proceed. Yes, tell me.
Clear.
All right. Okay. Now we have another method that we are using here. Let's understand this. So what it does. So instead of like taking this entire program, I'm just saying str. So it will print whatever we have in this string, that is Pravina in lowercase. If I say str dot to uppercase, it will be printed in capital letters. So basically it converts a given string into uppercase. Even like we have like this, output will be same, means all the characters will be converted into the uppercase, right? Okay, now what if I am saying like this? Can you guess it, guys?
Same one. It won't change anything.
M1, that means the line 5, right?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So whenever we are calling a method on a string and we are not assigning that value to the string itself, then we will not get the updated value. Now we are assigning that updated value into the str, then only we can see the difference. Okay. Similarly, we have a method called to lowercase. Right? Any doubt in this? We have a string like this. Hello, how are you? What are you doing? Now we have another method that is called index of, str dot index of. So in this index of method, we can provide input as a character or as a string, or even int character, int from index, right, or string from index. So let's test all these and understand like how it works. So when we say index and we say pass a character like this, let me take a, so it will tell us the first occurrence of a in this string, means at what index we got the first a. Like we can see we have a at 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. On 10th index we have a, so it will give us 10, the first occurrence of a. Getting my point? Now we have another method of this format, like when you were watching, that was int character and from index. So I'm saying just forget about this, start counting from this position. So let's say this one is at 10th position. I'm saying what is next a, like after, let's say I'm saying 11. So it will not say me 10 now, it will start counting from this point. So next a we got at 21st position or 21st index. Getting my point? Similarly, we can use this with the string. So like this time I'm saying R. So where is our first R? If I say that is again on 10th index. Let me move it forward. So now position will be changed, right? So now it is at 15th position. If I say like, don't tell me this one, tell after this one. So for example, I'm saying start your counting or searching from index 15. Sorry, we given the same index. I mean, start from 16th. So it will go to the next, like where the next R is in this string. Getting my point? Any doubt in this? So this is the index of method. So most of the time we use it like this. Like, what is the first occurrence of R? Just tell us that.
Do they recognize special characters also, like question mark and at? Like
Yes, yes, yes. Let me take it. Okay. So index of tells us first occurrence of a given, I would say a character or a given string, like which we are looking inside the string.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Then we have last index of. It is again same. So we can say last index we have is at the end for this question mark. So it will tell us the last occurrence of this. That is 42, right? And this can be used again in the both ways, like we were using the index of method. So we can pass the index like this. Okay. So last index is of, which basically tells us what is the last index where that particular pattern was found. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ends with. Okay, before moving further, so let's take, this is another string. I'm taking it outside. String str is equals to this. Okay, now this is, let me call 1 and this is 2. I'm saying str1 dot st, sorry, concat 2. So what it will does, it will append both of the string like we do with plus symbol. So it will make the string appended with the second string, or like we can use like this. Okay. So whenever we are performing any operation, like I'm saying str1 dot concat str2 and just print what we have in str1. So we can say we are getting only the first string. So until or unless we are not going to tell, like keep the updated content in this string, then it will not update inside the string. Getting my point? str1 dot concat str2 makes hello guys, how are you, what are you doing, but it doesn't update. How it will get updated? When we say initialize the updated content using this assignment operator. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have str1 dot ends with. So for example, I want to check if a particular string ends with a particular pattern. So for example, I'm saying ends with, let me say doing. So basically you can see our string is getting end with you and question mark. So it will say false. It doesn't end with the doing. If I say our string ends with this pattern, yes it is, then it will say yes. Okay. Similarly, we have starts with. Does our str1 starts with this pattern? No, so it will say false. And when I say is it getting start with hello? Yes, it is true. What if I say this? False, because these are two different strings. Getting my point? So we can check start and ends using starts with and ends with method. Like if a particular string getting start with a particular pattern or not, or end with a particular pattern or not. All right. Now, next thing we have is we have two string str1, which is basically containing hello, and this is also containing hello, right? And if I say str1, sorry guys, give me a moment. Okay, let's talk about string comparison. So if I say like this, str1 equals str2. As you can see, we are creating both the string with string literal. So in this case, this double equals will work and it will say, yes, that is true. Okay, but what if we are creating these strings using new keyword? That should be like string new string. Both string have the same data, and if I say we are getting false. So whenever we want to compare two string, what we need to do is we need to use equals method like this. Then only we will get the comparison between the content. Okay, one more thing, let me just try to explain. If I see system.out.println str1 dot hash code, and similarly I'm printing hash code for string 2. So you can see we are getting the same hash code, but still when we say str equal to str2, then we can see we are getting false. So when we say str equals str2, it doesn't really compare the hash code. it basically checks the reference. So let's understand this, like what is a reference. So don't mix the reference with the hash code. Guys, are you getting what I'm saying? Even both the objects having the same hash code, but we are getting false for this when we are checking the reference. Okay, so when we work with the string, there are two ways to create a string. Like for example, string s is equals to hello. That is using string literal. This is the first way. Using so if you go for interview with 2 or 3 year experience, that question will be there, like how to create a string, how many ways are there, and this equality check, like when we say this and we try to check equality using equals operator, what will happen? We check equals method, what will happen? So these kind of questions can be there. Second, using new keyword, that is string s is equals to new string hello. So there are two ways to create a string. Okay, let's understand how it works. So inside your JVM, right, and inside your, let's say this is your heap where objects will be created. Okay, there is a specific area that is called string constant pool. Okay, that is called string constant pool. So when we say string s equals to hello using literal, so whenever we say literal, what it does, it keeps that string into the pool. Before keeping that string into the string constant pool, it checks if that similar object is already there or not. If not, put it there and return back the reference. So we'll get the reference. Let's say this is S1. Now let's say I'm saying again string S2 is equals to hello. So whenever I'm saying use a literal to create a string, what it will do, it will go back, it will check if there is any string with the same content in string constant pool. If yes, return the same reference. So S2 will be like pointing to the same object or same reference, right? Getting my point? So both will have the same reference when we are using string literal. Getting my point, like how it is working? So whenever we say create a string using string literal, what it does, it creates that string into string constant pool. And before placing that object into string constant pool, what it does, it checks if that particular string already exists in the pool. Do not create a new one, just return the same reference. So you can see both S1 and S2 are pointing to the same reference. But when I say new, so what it will do, it will create a new string. And it won't be here like in constant pool. It will be outside the constant pool, like here. And let's call this S3. So S3, the new reference will be assigned to this. So whenever we say new, every time a new string will be created inside the heap. Let's say I'm taking string S4 is equals to new string. So it will create a new string again, and S4 will be assigned to this because we are using new. So whenever we say new, every time a new string will be created. Getting my point, guys? Now, in your interview, you might be asked something like this. string s1 is equals to hello, s2 is equals to hello. In this case, how many strings are getting created? How many? 1.
1.
But if I say string s1 is equals to hello, s2 is equals to new, hello, then in this case, how many are there? Tell me.
2.
2. Exactly.
Yes.
Like one is creating by this one and one is this one. Now question might be asked, let's say we have this. Sorry?
No, that's my kid. Sorry.
Okay. So let's say we have this s1 equals to hello, s2 equals to new string hello. Now question can be like this: if, or just system.out.println s1 equal s2, what will be the output? Tell me. This will be created into constant pool and this will be created inside a heap. So we can say it will be false. But if I say s1 dot equals s2, it will give us true because both are having the same content. So whenever you want to check the content, you can just use this one, equals method. Okay. Now in this case, what if I say system.out.println s1 equal s2? So you have seen like this will be created in the constant pool and this will be pointing to the same object. So both are pointing to the same object. That means the difference we are getting is same. So that case, in this case, we will get true. And even if we say equals, we'll get true. Make sense? Now let's go back. You can see when I'm saying new string hello, we are creating two objects, str1 and str2. And when I'm checking if the reference of both the objects are same, no, they are not same. That's why we are getting false. We are checking the content. Yes, content is same. That's why we are getting true. Even the hash codes are same. Right? Now, what if I am saying like this? So again, this is getting created inside a constant pool and this is inside your heap memory. So they will not be pointing to the same object. You can see str1 is not equal with str2, but if we try to compare the content, we are getting true. And even the hash code is same. Getting my point? Let me know in case you have any doubt. Because this time we are using the same object from constant pool, like we have just seen here. S1 and S2 both are pointing to the same object, this particular image I'm talking about. So that's why S1 is equals to we are getting true. Okay. Now let's discuss furthermore. Okay. So what I'm doing now, I'm okay. We have a string str1 and str2. I'm saying str1 dot hash code and str1 dot hash code. So in between what I'm doing, we don't really need this particular string for now. str1 is equals to str1 plus, let's say, hi. So you can see earlier the hash code was 650 and later on it was changed to a new number, right? What basically it means, you will learn a concept that is called immutability. So what immutability is, a string is immutable. What immutable means? That means if we modify a string object, if we modify a string object, a new object will be created. Like for example, in our case, we were having str1, which was basically containing the hello inside the memory, like this. And when we say str1 equals to str1 plus hi, or we are just saying hi, appending into str. So what will happen? A new string will be created, which is basically hello hi in the memory. And this particular pointer will be dereferenced, or it will be pointed here at this point. That means the object we were having earlier will be eligible for garbage collection. It's no more getting referenced by this str1. It is now connected to this string. That means we got a new object. That is called immutability. We cannot modify a string object, and if we try to do so, we will get a new object. Getting my point? Any doubt in this? Feel free to ask. So we have seen as similar to uppercase, we have two lowercase method. Right, and we do have other methods too, like let me just take one which we basically use most of the time, contains. So let's say you have a given string and you want to check if a particular word is there in that string or not. So you can just check it like this. We want to check if how is there in this string. So it will tell us true because how is there. You can see we are getting true. So we can use contains method. It will check if a given string, substring is available inside a given string. Right. For example, if I say Anuj, this is not there, so we'll get false. Okay. So contains method is there. Most of the time we will be using it. Then we have is empty to check if a given string is empty or not. So for example, the string we have right now is not empty. So we are getting false. What if there is no data or no character in this given string? We'll get true. So we have is empty method. Okay. Then we have other method as well, like for example, you have any primitive value, boolean, character array, double, float, integer, long, object. You want to convert that value into a string, you can just call value of method that we have just seen, I think in previous example where we were trying to convert a character into a string. When we say string dot value of, and then we said pass the character and just call the to uppercase method. Remember in the beginning of the class, let's say we have int I is equals to 10 and we want to convert this into a string, so we cannot write it like this. strs is equals to I, we cannot write it like this. What we can do is we can say string dot value of, and we can pass this into the string value of method, and we can try to print it. So this time the 10 is not itself an integer, it's a string, right? Then we have other methods too, like str1 dot, we have seen value of split, we have seen. Okay, we have get bytes. It will convert the given string into a byte array. So when we will learn about file reading and writing, then I'll show you like how to convert a string into a bytes array. Like if I do this, so you will not like get anything to understand here. You can just see we're getting b at the rate something. That is basically a byte array. If I write it like this, so we can print it like using the for loop. These are the numbers we are getting. That means this is the string representation of this. Okay, and if I say we are starting from A, so that you can understand it better. So you can see we are getting 65, the first character, which is basically A. So when we say get bytes, what it does basically, it converts the corresponding string into respective Unicode value. Getting my point? Yes or no? Okay. So get bytes method is there. Okay, one more thing, guys, that we haven't discussed yesterday. Let me just do that here. So we have hello, how are you in our string, and if I say str1 dot split, and I'm saying split it with a space, so it will give us an array of a string, right? Let me call it strings, and you know to go through each element of this array, we can just say like this. Right, it will go through each element and print each element. So here at this point we know where to start. Like if we want to skip the first element, we can say start from 1, right? And we can see we have skipped the first word. Okay, now we can also decide the like where we want to end. Getting my point? There is one loop that we have discussed earlier, that was for each. So what it is basically, I said that works for iterable only. For each loop works for iterable only. What is iterable? So iterable is a type, or iterable is a type. Like we have seen a person class, which is itself a type. We can say a class is a data type. We have seen that, yes or no? Tell me.
Yes.
Yes. So iterable is itself a type. Let me just open that. This is basically an interface provided by Java, right? Iterable. So all the collection classes. Let me open the collection interface. Collection. Yeah, here it is. So you can see it extends. We haven't seen like what extends used, what is the purpose of using extends. So just for now, you can understand like this. It is basically used for inheritance. Like there are something in iterable and we want to use that in collection. So we can use extend keyword. We can say iterable is a parent of collection interface. Okay. So whatever the childs we have, which has their parent as iterable, can use for each loop. So arrays are also child of iterable. So we can use this loop with arrays. How we will be using? Let me just show you guys. So we have an array called strings. So we will be saying strings. Which kind of values we are having in this? String value. So I'll say string s and just print s. It will go through each element and will print one by one. Okay, let's understand like how it works. We are saying for each string in this given array, that is strings, get a string, keep that into s and print that. Getting my point? So whenever we are going to iterate an array or a collection and we have to iterate each and every object, then we can use it. Like in this, we cannot skip any object. Getting my point? Is it will start from the beginning and will go till the end. Getting my point? Let me clear it up. So this is the basic syntax we can use while writing for each loop. Let's take another example. Let's say we have integer array. Integer array we have error r is equals to new int, or let me just take 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 till 6 I'm taking, and I want to print each and every object from this array. So for each object from this array, get an I of type integer and just print it. Okay, so you can see we are getting each element here on the console. Let me know in case you have any doubt with this for each. Like I haven't worked with this in past because that was not the right time, but yes, we can use this with arrays. So that's why I'm telling you. Let me know in case you have any doubt in this. No doubt? Okay, fine.
Hi, Anuj.
Just tell me.
You are saying that we cannot skip the particular thing, right? In the particular
Yes.
object in the for each loop.
Yes.
We can mention if condition, right? Is it not possible?
But listen what I'm saying. It will start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
For example, there are 10 elements in that array, so it will execute 10 times, yes or no.
Yeah.
But if I'm using a for loop and I'm saying start from 5th, so how many times it will get executed?
Or 5 times.
That is my concern. Whatever you want to do, you can do with programming, like, but see the basic difference. Getting my point? What I'm trying to tell.
So here from starting onwards, it will surely go through up to end, right?
Yes, like you want to skip something. Let's say you want to skip first five numbers not to be printed. You can make a counter here like this, int c is equals to 0, and you can check here like if c is greater than, sorry, less than, let's say 4, or let me take the greater than case. When it is greater than 4, then only print. And just do one more thing, do C++ every time. Okay, let me just remove this one. So you can see we are getting only 6 because we have started from 0 here, the counter. What if I say start from 1, then we will be getting 5 and 6. So yes, we are able to skip, but let's try to understand how many times this is getting executed. Let's print C. How many times? 6 times, you can see, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, but the values we are getting only 2 times because according to our logic we will skip this printing part, right? But if I say do not use this one and do one thing, start printing int I is equals to, I'm saying 0 1 2 3 4 4, and go till I less than, we have arr dot length and I plus plus. Okay, and just do one thing, print value from arr from the index I. Okay, now let me just comment this one. So how many times it's getting called? 2 times. Getting my point? And why we are not like getting printed the value of 5 and 6? Because we don't really need this check in this case. So you can see 5 and 6 we are getting. So when we say for each, that means it will iterate or go through each and every element. You got it?
Yeah, clear, Anuj.
All right, all right. So don't hesitate whenever you have doubt. Doubts are good, and even you got some, like when you are doing practice, you got some error. These are actually good to learn and grow. When we got error, we will learn like how to fix an error. So if you are familiar with an error, then if you see that error in future, you know the like root cause, how to fix that, and how and why a particular error is coming, right? Okay, so this is the basic difference between simple for loop and the for each loop. Okay, next thing is, let me just go back, and what I'm doing is str1 dot. I'm taking another method like which we need to discuss. Yeah, whenever you want to compare two string and you don't worry about the case, then you can use this particular method, equals ignore case. Like, let me just show you. We have str1, we have str2. In this we have hello, and if I say str1 dot equals str2, so we'll get false because the content is not equal. But whenever we are not really worried about the case, so we can use equals ignore case. Do not compare the case. Then we will get true, because this time we are not concerned about the case. So case will not be compared, only content will be compared. Getting my point? Let's say if it is by, then you can see it's not getting match even after ignoring case, because there is no match. Getting my point? Now one more thing which we need to discuss, like we have A and B. There is one more method that is called compare to. Okay, and we are comparing this with str2. So when we are saying str1 compared to str2, what is basically what it is doing? It is comparing two string and checking whether this str1 comes before str2. If yes, then return -1, or even like I say, it will say -2. If I say D -3, but what if it is D and this is A? Then +3, and both are equal, then we'll get 0. Okay, let's say I have AB and we have AC. So from this point we can see A and A will have A and A, there is no difference between A and A, but B and C having some difference, that is basically the -1. So it basically what it does, it first compare the first character, then goes to second, then goes to third, and works accordingly. So most probably whenever we will be using this, we will be just checking like if we are getting a negative number or a positive number. That really matters. So when we will be like using objects sorting, whenever we want to sort our object based on some data, then we will use this compare to method. Okay, so for example, we have two string, in this case AB and AC, and when we are saying str1 dot compare to str2 and we are getting 0, that means in the dictionary or in the sorting, ascending order sorting, AC will come after the AB. Getting my point? We'll use this kind of comparison whenever we will writing our own sorting logic for objects. So for now, you can just remember it compares the string content, and based on comparing that content, it tells us the difference. Like I'm having ACC this time, I'm getting -1.
Anuj, it's doing AB minus ACC or ACC minus AB?
I would not say it's doing any minus or plus. Let's go into the deep. What it is doing, we can see it here. So we are passing to string. Let me just copy this one into the class itself where we were doing it. So this was the code that we were having. Okay. To understand it, like we have to first look at the value. What is basically the value is. So value is basically an array. Okay. And we can say we have a value array. Which kind of array it is? Character type. So let me take it as a character array. Okay. Now another string dot value. We have another string dot length. I'm just taking. It will be a method here, and length. Sorry. Dot to char array. Yeah, this is another important method. The to char array. Basically, it converts a given array into an array of character, a given string to a characters array. So this is what we have. What it does, we have k, then we have lim. What is lim? This is basically the minimum of these two. Okay, so for example, we have str1 dot, sorry, not dot, it's comma, str2 dot caret, sorry, to char array. Sorry, compared to. So we have our own compared to that we are calling right now, and let's say it's static. It will go here. What is the issue now? No. So let me debug it. So we are passing two string into this basically, which is AB, and the second one is ACC, right? Now when we are getting length, so we got 2 and 3, like the first one is 3 and the second one is 2, the length of the string we are passing. Now when I say length of minimum, so it will give us 2. When we say math.min, so lim will become 2. Now what we are doing, we are keeping this value into array v1 and the second one into the second array, that is v2. Now we are checking, we are taking k equals to 0 while k less than lim. That means we will check first two characters, because there is no logic like where for which character we will compare this. Like in this there are only two characters, so there is no character to compare to the third character. That's why we are going till the minimum one, right? Then it is checking, let me just again run it. So we got C1 and C2, which is basically A and A. And if we are looking at this line, C1 and C2 are if not equal, then return minus of their result. So C1 and C2 both are equal, so that means we will now go inside and it will do K++, right? Now again, now we got C and B, which is not equal. So what it will do, it will minus B from the C value. So we will get, like you can see here, in C1 we have C and in this we have B. And finally it is giving us a value. Let me just I have to compute it again. Let me just remove this, which is 1. Getting my point? So basically what it is doing like comparing each and every object. This one minus this one, we can just say. Or more information, we can read it here. Not here, sorry. Yeah. Compares to string lexicographically. The comparison based on the Unicode value of each character in the string. The character sequence represented by the string object is compared lexicographically to the character sequence represented by argument string. The result is negative integer if the string object lexicographically precedes the argument string. The result is a positive integer if the string object lexicographically follows the argument string. The result is 0 if both are equal. Compare to returns 0 exactly when the equals method would return true, means where the content of the string is basically true. So from this point of view, we can say in this example, like we have AB and ACC. So it will compare not the all the characters. It will just check these two and these two, right? So it will say this minus this. So whenever we have seen, like whenever both the characters are equal, then it will not do anything. But when both are different, then it will say return this minus this. That's why we were getting -1. Reason being, like for B, what is the value we have? 98. And for this we have 99. So basically it is doing 98 minus 99. That's why we are getting -1. Make sense, Praveena?
It's little bit confusing, but clear after now.
Hello?
But here, the second string, if we take A, B, C, small b,
Mhm.
C, that
Mhm.
small b, yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, we are getting -C. But if we see, like this C is basically the one for which we are getting -1. Let me go inside this again. So you can see, if this is the case, do one thing at the end, do this len -1, len -2. So what is len -1, len -2? So we can just see here, this is
Oh, understood. actually. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right. So
Right.
this is written here in compare to method.
Yes. Yes.
Basically, whenever we are not getting any return from this while loop, then it will come here and it will say, it will check the length. So we can see here the length is 2 and here the length is 3. That's why we are getting -1. Getting my point? And if I see like we have this, so in this case we should get 2. Make sense? So right now basically it is working on the length of the characters. Getting my point? So for example, if this is C, then what will happen? It will came to know like these two characters are not equal, then just do this one. So it will return -1. When there is no result returned by these first two comparison, then obviously it will do this dot length minus this dot length. Getting my point?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. So anybody has any doubt in this string compared to whatever we have discussed? Let me see if there is anything else that we need to discuss. Like most of the methods we have covered, and rest of the methods like are those that I haven't used much. I need to research. Yeah, replace is a very important method that we need to use. We need to learn replace and replace all. Replace first to string to uppercase. Trim is there. Okay, so trim method is basically removing spaces from the head and the tail from the string. Okay, split we have seen. Okay, let's quickly see replace. Hello, how are you? We have this string and another we have where are you going. For example, we have this string. Now we have spaces at the beginning, at the end, right? If I say str1, so the trailing space you will not feel like there is any space, but you can see space here. Can you see it before H?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, there is one space here, right? So we want to remove that, so we can say trim. So it will remove spaces from the head and the tail of the string. You can see there is no space now, and even here, right? So this is trim. When I say replace, so replace is basically can replace a given character from a new character. Like old character we have, for example, H, which we want to replace with B. So you can see it like all the H are now replaced by B. Can you see it?
Yes. So
Okay.
I have one generic question.
Yes, please tell me.
If we have quotes inside the quotes, so will it give error or will it stop over there?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Suppose I have hello, then it starts with the quotation hello quotes, and
Like
then
this or double quotes?
double quotes.
Double quotes obviously will get string termination error, like you can see here.
Uh-huh. And then again we have quotes from how,
Okay.
like
Okay.
this. So will
Okay.
it give error or?
Yes, it will give error. So
Okay.
let me tell you how you can means write. If you want your string to store quotes, so you can do like
if I want to say hello Anuj, then
Mhm.
quotes hello. I mean, yeah, quotes.
So you want to
Then
print
hello,
something
then
like this.
quotes, then Anuj in quotations, and then how it I gonna write.
You want to print like this. What I'm getting. You want to print like this, right? In the output, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see. Yes. I was speaking on mute. Sorry.
Okay. So we can write it like this. Backward slash, then quotes, Anuj, then again backward slash, and then quotes. So we can say backward slash followed by, sorry, quotes followed by this.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So that will be printed like this. You can see we are getting double quotes. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Now we have another method which takes a string, like I'm saying, how will be replaced with example where. So you can see we are getting hello Anuj, where are you? Where are you going? Let me take how are you doing? We have this. So we in this we have two how, right? And when we are saying replace how with where, we can see it's getting replaced, right? How is basically getting replaced with where. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, we'll wrap up it here. Feel free to ask if